Hello and welcome back to the Doctor's Garage here on YouTube. So in today's video it's a little bit different. I'm going to be speccing up what I would choose if I was to order a new 2022 Range Rover. It's just been released. You'll see all the press photos of this car all over YouTube and all over the media at the moment. So I thought I'd go ahead and build my ideal car. So I'm going to go through the configurator and check it out. Let me know what you think and what you would choose at different options that I select, and let me know in the comments below. So we're going to head over to the Land Rover website and check out the new Range Rover. And I'm going to build this to the spec that I would order it in, and also talk about some of the options, some of the features, some of the extra things that I found out about this new car that I think are really interesting and something that Land Rover are doing a bit different with the new Range Rover. So if we head over to vehicles here, the new Range Rover, as you can see, is available from £94,400, and you can now build your own, which is an option that only came available in the last 24 hours. As you can see with all Land Rovers at the moment, I think all cars in general, there is this global shortage of semiconductor components, and therefore the lead times are much longer. I have no idea how long this is going to take to order if you did order one of these right now, but I imagine it's quite a while. So you've got the standard wheelbase, the long wheelbase, and the long wheelbase with 7 seats, which is a new thing that they've done with the Range Rover. And actually, when you look inside, and we'll talk about this in a bit more detail, it's very similar actually to the 7 seats that you might find in something like a Discovery. So really usable rear 7 seats, which is the first time for Range Rover in general. Let's take a look at the standard wheelbase car rather than the long wheelbase, which is 120, or the long wheelbase 7 seats, which is 102. If we look at the standard wheelbase car, which is £94,400, let's click on this to start. And at this point, we can then choose, are we going to go for the standard Range Rover, the autobiography for £114,000, or the first edition, which has basically all the Range Rover autobiography features, and it's like the launch edition car. It's the one you would have seen online. It's the press car that's around on the internet at the moment and on YouTube. It is all the first edition. Let's take a look at the normal Range Rover itself and talk about the standard features that we've got. So everything you would expect, really. The Range Rovers have always come really well spec'd compared to other vehicles in the Land Rover lineup. Even at the SE levels, they're pretty well spec'd, and there's some extra features which you get with the HSE, but really overall it's pretty good. You've got 21-inch wheels, you've got leather interior, you've got heated steering wheel and multifunction steering wheel, you've got the 20-way electric heated front seats as well, and also inside, as you can see, there's nothing really you really need to add unless you want those little bit extras. You've kind of got everything that you need really on the SE itself. So let's take a look at this car and click through on this one. So when you go to engine choices, you've got the D300, the D350 and the P400. And these engines all have mild hybrid technology in them. There isn't a full electric version at the moment, but that is coming to the Range Rover platform in 2024. So it's not available yet, but something that will be coming soon. These part electric vehicles can do about 100-kilometer range, so we're talking kind of the 50 to 60 mile range purely on electric before using the diesel or petrol engine, depending on what you go for here. So we've got 2 diesels. This one's a 300 horsepower, the second diesel, which is 350 horsepower, and then we've also got the turbocharged petrol 400 horsepower engine here, which is a pretty conservative, I think, for me. You know, a 3-litre 6-cylinder 300 horsepower engine is absolutely fine. Let's click through on that. So now we're presented with the specification packs. We've got the SE, which keeps it at the base price of £94,400, and we've also got the HSE, which puts it up to £100,000. And what really are the differences? Well, when you look cosmetically, there are a few differences between the two vehicles. One of the most noticeable ones probably is the fact that you get an inch bigger on the wheels and a slightly different wheel design. You've also got things like digital LED headlights rather than the pixel LED headlights. For most people, it's probably not a huge difference, but they're the kind of differences that we might see. And it tells you a little bit more about what that's all about below that. So you've got things like Clearsight interior rear view mirror, which is really good. So this is what they put on the new Defenders, which is where you obviously have a camera as part of your rear view, so it gives you a much clearer feed rather than being obstructed by seats. In particular, if you have a 7-seat arrangement or a lot of things in the back, it's quite nice to be able to use a camera. So that's quite a nice feature they brought into the Range Rover here, which came from the new Defender. Talking about interiors, the HSE has a little bit extra interior wise. So on this one, you've got the same seat arrangement, but you've also got ventilated seats front and back in the HSE too, which is actually quite a nice feature on my Discovery 5. It certainly is something that's quite good when it's very hot to keep cool. There's also some other options available, so there's a few more driver assist packages, but generally there's not that much in it really. And for me, again, I'd probably go SE here because I don't feel like it's worth the extra money really on upgrading. So what you can do now, it gives you kind of the overview, said, right, this is the one, it's 94,400, but you can continue building it if you click here, and this takes you through into the colorways. So you've got Fuji White, which is the free color. You've also got metallic paints, which are free. You've got Santorini, you've got a gray, a Portofino blue, the bronze, silver, green, and pearl white. And some of these colors are new to the Range Rover and quite interesting actually when you start looking at them. And I think as more information comes out about the Range Rover, there'll be more available online to see what these colors look like. At the moment, the color that you've got is the satin gold finish, and I believe that is actually sunset gold here, or there's actually videos you can play for this too to see what each one looks like. That's sunset gold in gloss. It's not that one on the videos. I have a feeling it's probably one of these very expensive ones towards the bottom that they're using on their car at the moment, but it's very similar to a gold or a bronze color that they've got on their press car at the moment. As you can see, paint colors get quite expensive quite quickly. So for example, talk about the Velocity Blue, the SVR type color, you're talking about £4,500 for that extra color there. And as you go down further, we've got even more expensive colors, which are the SV Bespoke Ultra Metallic paints, and we're talking £7,000 extra for those colors, and these are all a satin finish color. Very cool though to be able to have those options, although they are quite a lot of money. And talking about these, you can see a video of each of those paints just to get an idea of what that looks like in detail, and how the light hits it as well, which is quite a nice feature on the configurator to be able to do that. So let's say on my car, I'm going to be very standard and just go for Santorini, so keep it black, looking good. And then if we go to visual packs as well, this is quite interesting. So you've got the nickel Atlas exterior pack or the shadow exterior pack. So the shadow just helps black things out. So if you see a difference between that, these are nickel, the front bumper around the grille. The shadow pack looks quite good in the black, kind of go for the all black look, much like my Discovery is at the moment. I quite like that look at the moment. So let's do that. That's £935 extra. Then moving on to headlights, so we've chose the Pixel headlights, which came with the SE. The digital ones are £1,000 extra. Cosmetically, not much difference, as you can see, the light cluster changes, but I don't really think there's a huge difference in that, so let's stick with those. Glass-wise, as always with Land Rover, I never understand, you always have to pay for privacy glass, and I think it's a really essential option to have for a number of reasons, but you always have to pay for that. So let's add privacy glass on with the car there. And let's have a look at wheel options too, because the SE came with a 21-inch, which are these ones. So you can get another type of 21-inch, the diamond turned with gloss dark and grey contrast. Let's see what they look like. So difference between them, both very standard really. When we talk about Land Rovers and in general, look like quite a classical Land Rover wheel. I think if you look a bit further down, the 22-inch wheels are quite nice. So we've got these ones here, which look a little bit better, or we can go black as well. Do that kind of all black look, and then again we can get even bigger, so 23-inch wheels too. So getting quite expensive, a good way to spend more money on your spec, but actually look pretty good when they're on. If we talk about these in 23-inch, they look pretty good. Let's go for an all black look on this car. So let's do 23-inch at start. I think wheels are one of the most important aspects of the car, and you can choose them later on and still get an SE but have these extra features like this. I think it looks pretty good. So again, there's a few more options here. We can go for like black brake calipers, for example, if you wanted to, for £300. And you can also get a full-size spare as well, which is probably quite a good option to have. So let's talk about the roof. So roof-wise, you've got in the SE just a body-coloured roof, nothing more. If you want a fixed pan roof, it doesn't cost anything, so that's on. But you can have a sliding pan roof too, which is £545, and I think really worthwhile having generally. Towing wise, I think with all these cars it's worth having a tow bar, because often if you own all these cars like I do, you do tow quite a lot, so I'd definitely put that on electrically. Having it fitted aftermarket is a little bit more challenging to do. So that's the exterior, so let's take a look at what that looks like with the spec we've got. So I love the back of the car, particularly in black now, because you can see everything just matches and blends in. You haven't got any clear glass or any coloured glass, and as you've probably seen on the other videos about this car, the rear lights come up in this section and the indicators are hidden within here, which is really nice actually. So let's take a look at the other sides of the car. So from the side, looking quite good. We've got those lights on there, which we chose, the wheels, and generally I think a really cool looking Range Rover actually. I know it's the all black look, and I know it's getting a bit tiresome now, everyone's speccing their car black, but I do think the black on black looks quite good on this new car. From the back, I can't help but think there's quite a bit of a Rolls-Royce Cullinan look about the rear end, which looks quite good. I think when it's in the white and you've got this black bar and the lights, it can look a bit like a Volvo XC90, but I quite like it in black. I think it looks quite good. So let's move on to interior and talk about the interior options that we've got. The new interior is really, really nice in the Range Rover. And one of the things I really like is the fact they haven't kept the old glass design that goes right through here, because I found that if you drove one of those cars like the Sport or the Range Rover, you actually end up touching a lot of these by accident. It was very hard to navigate. Having the buttons was much more simple, and you often spent a lot of time being distracted looking down, and also it was very difficult to change those features while you're driving, because you had to look down when you were trying to drive, and it was very hard to know where you were going to press. So we can choose these semi-aniline leather seats, and we can also do ultra fabric seats as well. So there's a move away from some of the more leather, which is more traditional in these cars. But let's say in this car I was like quite a nice contrast, so we can go for something like the Windsor leather in Perlino colour. So let's see what that looks like, kind of like a cream. I think further down there's a few more options too. So I quite like the white and black contrast which you get in these cars, so something like that looks quite good. Or maybe we go for more of a brown look, and I see on the promo car, I think this actually looks quite good in brown, to be honest. Not a colour I would have originally chosen, but I think when it comes to this car, I think it looks quite good in the brown leather. So have a look through the car inside. Let's see. The steering wheel as well is kind of very much like the new Defender. It's kind of the same sort of design in the new Discovery now. Also has that infotainment, looks very good too. In the back, apparently very, very comfortable, a lot of space, and this middle seat comes down and makes an armrest, which is quite an elaborate armrest compared to the other cars. Change where the veneers are in the car and just give that bit of a highlight. I think it looks better than the brown for me, personally, on those elements. Carpet wise, a few options. So the carpet mats we can go for. If you want the SV carpet mats, you pay a little bit extra for that. Again, little extras that I don't probably think are completely necessary in this spec that I'm doing today. Steering wheel, so a soft grain leather steering wheel at the moment for £500. We can get the bespoke gloss wood steering wheel. So you just get this gloss ring around the outside that I think came off the Velar originally. It was one of the first things that was launched on that car. It actually looks pretty good and sort of does differentiate the interior. So let's leave that on for this spec we're doing. So options wise, we can now, remember we chose the SE, but now we can choose some of those HSE options, such as the Clearsight rear view mirror, which I think is quite nice. So let's add that on here, and then let's go to the next step. So these are all the options that normally at the end of the Land Rover configurator. So this is the tailgate event suite with leather cushions, quite a nice option to have if you're sitting in the rear, and I quite like that. So we're going to add that on the car today. It's £1,600 to do that though. And these are all the normal options that you see on the configurator, nothing too exciting here. And yeah, great, got plug socket as well, which is quite a nice feature. I like it that Land Rover have a lot of the way to charge a car right into the third row actually in a lot of their newer cars. So let's have a look. So personal customer handover experience is another £1,200. So you get tour and visitor centre, and that sounds quite interesting, but we're not going to do it today. And then the home link as well, which is something that's been in the cars for a while, and to be honest I find breaks quite often. So these are the more elaborate options. So you've got things like the deployable side steps and normal side steps as well actually, and gloss mud flaps if you wanted gloss on your mud flaps at all. So I wouldn't personally have a deployable side step. I think it's more electrics that have more problems with Land Rover in general. So finally, the accessibility options and other storage things, luggage stuff, nothing really to say about that. And I think we're probably getting to the end of the build now. We've got another chance to upgrade the wheels. Let's go for these. I mean, these are all the SV wheels here, so really, really pricey, but do look quite good. I mean, these are £5,500 for these SV forged alloys, and then also the centre caps as well you can choose too. So let's say we finish the build there. So pretty happy with that. Started off at 93,000 and we are now at 107,000, and a relatively conservative build really overall. I think, you know, that has a lot of things on it, but you may want some other bits and bobs, but I think that generally covers a lot of them. So you can take a deposit of £249 and reserve your vehicle and literally get it ordered on here, which is pretty good. Yeah, so £249 required to secure your vehicle. And that is my spec complete. So that's kind of how I would build my ideal new Range Rover, Although it's the all black look, it's a look I really like at the moment. I would definitely go for the SE and just put some of those extra options on to create more of an HSC look and feel with that. I think the Range Rovers are so well spec generally that actually there's not a lot more I would add. I hope you found this video interesting and very different to what I normally do here on the Doctor's Garage, but please subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments below, leave me a like, and stay tuned for more Land Rover content on my channel.